Netflix unravels this chilling truth in Dancing with the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. This eye-opening documentary exposes the dark underbelly of TikTok's flashy videos, where famous dancers are caught in a web of control and manipulation. Join us as we uncover the personal stories of those who managed to escape and expose 7M films in the Shekinah Church. Let's dive in. So, Netflix has released a 3-part series titled Dancing with the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, which delves deep into the controversial and allegedly cult-like environment surrounding the TikTok dancers assigned to 7M films. The documentary offers a chilling exploration of how a talent management agency and its ties to a religious group can become a realm of control and manipulation that affects the lives of aspiring young dancers. The documentary focuses primarily on 2 sets of sisters, Melanie and Priscilla Lee, and the Wilking sisters. Melanie and Miranda, now known as Melanie Derrick. Rather than a broad expose of 7M and the Shekinah Church, the narrative of the documentary becomes deeply personal, highlighting the individual experiences and challenges of these characters. Melanie and Priscilla Lee joined the church in the early years, initially welcomed, but soon was subject to a strict regimen. Living together in a single house, they needed approval for everything that they did. And everywhere that they went, their schedules were rigid. Bedtime was at 10 p.m. Wake up was 5 a.m., followed by church prayer time at 6 a.m. All of their activities were reported to mentors, who then reported to Shin. Now, over time, Shin made sexual advances toward Melanie, prompting her to flee the church in 2011. Priscilla, however, stayed for fear of going to hell. Later, Priscilla claimed that Shin began grooming and sexually abusing her, telling her that her sexual experiences would purify her. Eventually, Priscilla became convinced that hell was better than where she was at and left the church. Interestingly, her departure occurred during the production of the documentary, and her reunion with Melanie was their first in over 23 years. The Wilkins sisters' story initially drew attention to 7M and the Shekinah Church and ultimately led to the creation of the documentary. The Wilkins were already a popular dance duo in the TikTok community. They had a TikTok channel with millions of followers. In April of 2019, Miranda received a message from another dancer, James B. Derrick, that changed everything. Derrick's videographer, Isaiah Shin, the son of Robert Shin, introduced the girls to the Shekinah Church. They returned to Michigan at the start of the pandemic in 2020 before returning to Los Angeles. In January of 2021, Miranda, who was supposed to fly home for her grandfather's funeral, she called at the last minute and canceled. And she claimed that she needed someone closer to God's permission to fly. Melanie had already noticed her sister growing distant, but this act was particularly disturbing. Later, Miranda marries Derrick, and the family only found out about the engagement through social media without an invitation to the wedding. This led to Melanie and her parents going live on Instagram in February of 2022, and they did a 40-minute plea in which they expressed concerns that 7M was a cult and they were hoping to reconnect with Miranda. This eventually led to the Netflix documentary. Miranda Derrick publicly addressed her family's allegations, denying that 7M was a cult and rejecting claims of abuse or restrictions imposed by the church. As expected, Shin, 7M, and the church have all denied any wrongdoings or claims of being a cult. However, the number of ex-members telling similar stories in Dancing with the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, suggests otherwise, mirroring other groups that deny such labels despite evidence to the contrary. After the series aired, Miranda revealed that both she and her husband, James Derrick, had received death threats. The situation escalated after the series aired, gaining popularity and sparking a wave of a violent backlash against the couple. Miranda expressed her concern and vulnerability in an Instagram video, saying that she and her husband felt safe before the documentary, but now they fear for their lives. She details the various forms of harassment that they've faced, being followed in their cars, receiving hate mail, death threats, and messages encouraging them to commit suicide. Miranda gave specific examples of threats, including warnings of physical attack if seen in public, to threats to force her into a car trunk. These threats have heightened her safety concerns and prompted her to consider additional protection. The dancer, who has 2.7 million TikTok followers and over 1.7 million Instagram followers, blamed her parents and her sister, Melanie Wilkin, for the negative impact that the documentary has had on her life. Miranda expressed disbelief that her family thought that the documentary would help her or improve their relationship. At the end of the documentary, it's shown that Miranda and her family have reached a certain level of reconciliation and are in contact. However, the family claims that this reconciliation is a strategy by the leader of the alleged cult to give the impression that he does not separate young people from their families. Miranda sadly mentioned that in recent years she has met privately with her family to mend their relationship, enjoying their company and laughing together. However, she stated that this documentary has made it difficult to continue those meetings. So far, according to ratings released by Illuminate, the Netflix documentary has been watched by approximately 4.4 million people during the first week of June, solidifying its status as a global phenomenon. The success has made the series the most watched program in several parts of the world, underscoring its ability to capture attention and spark conversation internationally. In addition, Netflix has confirmed to Variety that the documentary will be submitted for consideration at the next Emmy Awards, specifically in the news and documentary category. This potential nomination underscores the critical acclaim and cultural relevance of the series, which not only uncovers a fascinating and disturbing story, but it also raises the important question about power, manipulation, and the limits of fame in the digital age. Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, confronts the dark reality behind digital fame, beyond the follower counts and the bright camera lights. This series reminds us that the relentless pursuit of approval can lead to extreme vulnerability and abuse. How far are we willing to go for fame? Another documentary that is shaking up the media landscape is Quiet on Set, which uncovered allegations of abuse by former Nickelodeon stars, pointing the finger at producer Dan Schneider. This production has garnered a notable response from Ariana Grande, who called the revelations devastating in a recent interview. Grande emphasized the urgent need for mandatory therapists on all sets of children's shows to ensure a safe and supportive environment for young actors. Her call to include therapy sessions in entertainment industry workers' contracts underscores the importance of protecting the mental health of children and teens exposed to fame at an early age. What do you think of this harrowing story? Let me know in the comments. I do read them all. If you want more shocking and chilling cases like this one, remember to subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more episodes that are sure to stay with you for a long time. Until next time.